Hi, this is Matt once again with back to another video, and this is a paid request for, I'm not sure how to pronounce your username. Was it Loran Francisco, or was it, I apologize, because he sent this actually through CashApp, and it said a name, but I don't know if he wants that name said, because, some people, they want that. Either way, I'm not sure what's the exact name to call you. Feel free to comment down below. I could change that in the description. But if you're watching, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your kindness, your generosity. Same with everybody else. I do apologize for the lateness of the video. Just a lot of things going on. But here we are. Thank you for that. If anyone wants to request any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, video game playthrough, tier list, ranking, reaction, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. So thank you. And this is for Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. No, nothing to do with the band. I guess really this is maybe the first film of 2025 I've reviewed, as in that came out in 2025. Unless, well, maybe that documentary, Resident Evil, the George Romero, I guess that would be it. But actual film, this would be it. I know I'm like 2 minutes in, I haven't talked about the film. Well, it's going to have to wait a bit longer, because let me talk a bit about the first film, Den of Thieves 1. That's a film that I saw and I wasn't really into. I know there are some that are big fans of the film. They truly, really enjoy the film. If you do, that's cool. Teach their own. I've seen Den of Thieves. It did nothing for me. I thought it seemed like a fairly generic, by-the-numbers heist movie that reminded me of better films like Heat by Michael Mann, among other ones. And it didn't have like the infectious, fun energy of, say, The Italian Job with Mark Wahlberg and Jason Statham. It didn't have, to me, the strong pathos of a film like Heat. It's just kind of there. I like Gerard Butler as an actor, whether it be Olympus Has Fallen or other movies, Gamer, but he couldn't save the film. 50 Cent was in that movie. Ice Cube Jr., O'Shea Jackson Jr., but I'm going to call him Ice Cube Jr. because he is. He's Ice Cube's kid. Seems like a nice guy. I'm not sure about him as an actor. I just didn't do much. This, same thing. Is this better? Is this worse? I don't know. I kind of felt the same way. And I wasn't really a fan of it. And I don't really understand how these got sequels, because the first film, it cost, I don't know, 40 to 50 million. It got 44 million in the US, it got 80 million worldwide. So I guess somehow that resulted in a sequel that was what? How many years later? 7 years later, give or take? Because wasn't the first one like 2018 or so? This had a $40 million budget. It made $34 million in the US. It made a total of $53 million worldwide, and they're already talking about doing a third one. So these films are not making that much money. I mean, whether you like the film or not, they're not really being a big part of the zeitgeist. They're not being big money makers. So I don't really get why this is becoming a franchise. And when you look at the story and you look at the characters, there's really nothing that really jumps out and goes, whoa, this, yep, I get it, I understand it. I mean, Gerard Butler, Olympus Has Fallen, while I do think it has flaws, I had fun with it. I could see why they got a franchise. I actually like the second one. Third one, not so much. But London Has Fallen, I liked. Angel Has Fallen, and not quite. But I did that. Gamer. I would rather have Gamer become a franchise. I don't know how a sequel would be, but I'd rather have that be a trilogy than Den of Thieves. But, and Pantera, listen, unless you have Pantera music on the goddamn soundtrack, don't call yourself Pantera. God damn it. Because now I'm thinking, where's the Pantera music? Fuck. I don't even know why it's called Pantera. I mean, he's with a group called the Panthers. But I don't know why it's called Pantera. To me, it's a silly title for this. Pantera only works for the band. Now, Gerard Butler returns, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube Jr. returns, and a bunch of people I didn't give a rat's ass about. Because at the end of the day, that's why I did that build up at the beginning, because I don't know how long this review will be, because it's a very by the numbers, typical film that you've seen done dozens of times. And yes, hell, I haven't seen films done dozens of times, and I still enjoy it. But they have a little bit extra oomph to it. Okay, Jason Statham did The Beekeeper last year. We've seen that type of film. A guy with a set of steels goes in and kicks a lot of ass. But there's a lot of little details, not just the beekeeping theme, but the action was fun, the pace was fast, other than the stupid FBI chick, which you could leave her outside on the fucking curb. But like the reason he's going after them, and that these people, what they're doing to older folks and stealing their money and hacking into it, like, at least I brought a little bit of different stuff to it, and it resulted in a fun time. This, if you've seen any movies, the gluttony of movies. I know that's not a real phrase, but I'm making it up. Gluttony as in there's too much, there's too overstuffed of genre of heist films. You can find a lot of stuff that either has a more interesting cast, or has a more fun vibe, or has the more personality between the characters. Here, to go through the plot, from what I remember in the first movie, Ice Cube Jr., you thought he was just one of the guys, part of the group, but you find out he was the mastermind, and he screwed everybody over, including Gerard Butler, who's the sheriff among these other cops going after them. But Ice Cube Jr. screwed all of them over, and he's able to get away. And now, at the end of the first film, there's this diamond heist he's getting ready to do in Belgium or something. He does it here. There's an airport hangar. He's with his other guys. They're in SWAT gear with full face masks, which reminds me a bit of Heat, with the kind of get-up they wore, only the clothes are a bit more like SWAT. They're at this airport hangar. They tell people to get down. They steal the stuff, including this red diamond, and they get the hell out of there. And then Ice Cube Jr. is going to go do another job with a team for another diamond place, the World Diamond Center. Meanwhile, Gerard Butler, they don't really delve much into this. You have to kind of gloss over little nuggets of information that apparently he's on the outs with the police force, and he's divorced. He doesn't see his kids much. This stuff I'm just gleaming by looking up stuff online. It's not a... I mean, you need little nuggets. Like Ice Cube Jr. tells him a little bit of, I know a little bit about you too, and I heard they kicked your ass out, and blah, blah, blah. But if they delve deep into Gerard Butler's character, what happened after the first film, how things went haywire, how his domestic life, and see his wife, see his kids, which we never see in this, and how, yeah, he kind of crossed the line of the law, but that he was kind of on this balancing act, and then how all this stuff kind of comes upon him one after the other, as like crushing onto him, where you're fired, or if you're not fired, you're suspended, whatever the hell the case is going on with the character. If you built that up, if we're able to see a bit of that, then at least we can get a bit more into Gerard Butler's character, and to his frame of mind of, maybe I want to go to the dark side, maybe I want to be a criminal, maybe I want to... It just... I'm not going to say it comes out of nowhere, but almost. And if you properly built that up, maybe that could have been interesting for Gerard Butler to play against, to material to play with, because I think he's a pretty decent actor. But you kind of gloss over all that. It just jumped to he's drunk or he's getting ready to get drunk, and he sees something on the news, and he sees this stripper, and the stripper goes, "Listen, you could go, I'll give you information and I want my cut, but if you don't, I'm going to post this footage of you fucking me, and I bet your kids don't want to see that." We never see that stripper again, by the way. Like, by the end of the film, he's like driving across the coastline. Like, did he pay the stripper what she needed? And she's like, "Screw this, I'm going to send this footage out." I mean, that stripper stuff is just kind of forgotten. Like some other subplots, just they're brought up and then completely forgotten. To a point of why even bring that up in the first place? But I guess it's like we have someone I need to get information out of. So then he goes overseas. Because I guess if you're a sheriff or, I don't know, I don't know if he's suspended, if he's not suspended, if he's probation. I don't fucking know. I didn't understand that. But he's able to go overseas and talk to the cops, and they don't. I guess they looked enough into it that, okay, sure, we'll talk to you, we'll give you whatever you want. I guess you just do that. Meanwhile, Ice Cube Jr. and his buddies, they tried to talk to the people in the World Diamond Center, tried to get a feel of the place for the score that supposedly is $850 million. He comes back, Gerard Butler's in his place, comes sit down while he's eating food, and they talk, but they try to be like this Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, that scene in Heat, but it's nowhere up to that. Instead, they just talk about something about symbiosis. This ain't fucking Venom. I did it. It's a different. I did it. It's not that symbiosis. But I don't remember that being much of a thing in the first movie, so this just feels kind of out of place. And he's like, "Listen, I want to be part of your group." Whether it leads to another, I guess somehow working with those cops, he now has jurisdiction to bring them in, because usually someone in the U.S. can't just take someone and bring them over back to the U.S. from. Otherwise, they would have done that with Roman Polanski and a shitload of other people. But I also think, well, couldn't a cop then work with police in the UK and just grab Roman Polanski and take his ass back? Because apparently this is what Gerard Butler can do. He just shows a badge and that's it. If you just go from the US to the UK or wherever, Belgium, wherever, and talk to 3 or 4 cops and go, "I want that motherfucker." Okay, you can. Goodbye. Why can't we do that Roman Polanski or some of these other guys? But apparently, I don't know. I don't know how the law works. Feel free to educate me. So Gerard Butler meets the other people, and the other people, I don't know a damn thing of a way to describe these folks. There's a lady, there's a guy, there's another guy, there's an asshole. There is nothing to these other characters. There is nothing to these supporting characters. Even with the Italian job, I'd just say, oh yeah, Seth Green, and he's the tech guy, and Jason Statham, he's like the ladies' man, and he loves the cars, and there's that guy, and that. Even Ocean's 11, which I know not everyone likes, I don't mind it with George Clooney. Okay, I deal with this guy, just not just with the actors, but how they're involved and how they are part of the heist. Even Tower Heist, which I wasn't huge on, it was, I at least kind of figured what people's placement were. Here, everybody just kind of runs together, and maybe there's a thing that's going to happen with the girl and Gerard Butler, like a fling, but nothing really comes of that. So I don't know why they set that up, but then nothing's really done with it. Just she's kind of flirting with him, and then going, "Don't fuck this up." But then nothing really comes of the two of them. Was that being saved for the third movie? Gerard Butler at times is trying. I would say he's the thing I like the most in the film. Like he's shaking someone's hand. It's like, take your time, bro. Take your time, bro. There you go. So Gerard Butler, I don't think is the problem in this. The same guy who made the first one made this. I think that's an issue. If you had someone that could really either make this just either a more personality filled movie, really punch up the script in terms of the dialogue and the scenes, or a different director that would really give you that visceral punch. And we've seen the other, whether it be Nobody or some of these other action films, John Wick, the first couple, Bullet Train. This one I saw the trailer for, Josh Hartnett, which looks good. Flight or Fight, I believe it's called, or something like that. That's not the case in this. And don't tell me it's going for more realism, because I don't know if people look at this and think realistic. It leads to there's a party going on, and Gerard Butler's dancing with someone, and one of the crew gets pissed because it's like his ex-girlfriend, and their heads are kind of going like this, and they get into a fight. The Ice Cube Jr. gets to a fight, and then they get thrown out, and then the Sicilian mob, grab them, put them on a boat, and say, "Hey, that red diamond that Ice Cube Jr. took at the beginning, we need that shit back, or your ass is grass." They throw them out, and then they try to throw a little bit of buddy cop humor, where Ice Cube Jr. is like, "Where we swim?" Drumbo's like, "Over there, dumbass." "Oh, we gotta swim all the way over there?" Like, that's kind of the dialogue they're having. I'm like, I don't really buy these two all of a sudden kind of having this buddy cop banter. I just don't buy that. Unless there's stuff I completely missed in the first film. Because to be honest, I don't remember much of the first film, because it was like 2 hours and 20 minutes and I was bored. And this is over 2 hours. I don't think these films need to be this damn long. Also, the mob boss, his name is the Octopus. How in the flying fuck am I going to take you serious when you call the Octopus? When I think of octopus, that means you like to jerk off a lot of people's dicks. You have a lot of... Maybe that's what he does on his spare time. I'll jerk you, jerk you, jerk you, jerk you, jerk you. Why do I think the octopus jerks off? I don't know. What else he going to do with all the 8 limbs? Play with his fucking sphincter and take all 8 and put it up over his head? Try to wear his ass like a hat? I don't know. Octopus don't do any of that. But if it was a person, it's like, why are you calling yourself the octopus? What, I mean, you shoot a lot of ink? You comes black? I don't know. Why you call the octopus? Because you're pussy? I didn't. You call yourself the octopus, I don't take you seriously. And some cat's playing with a toy, of course. You're probably mad that I'm talking about this film. Fuck this, shut up. Well, or maybe he heard the term octopus and he's like, where? He's like, nowhere. There ain't no water around here. There ain't no octopus in here. I don't know why the ball's called octopus. They probably did explain it, but it was so stupid it went out of my brain and right into the recycle bin. There's a lot of planning. I remember one scene specifically. Ice Jr. has a he has a bag of Doritos that he's like, but like, make sure the brand name is right here so you can see it. Like, how about every scene you have that bag of Doritos, dude? Like, that was so obvious for product placement. It was kind of like, come on. You couldn't be a bit more subtle with that. And then the heist. I honestly thought the heist was one of the more boring heists I've seen in films. It's just kind of this like beam they walk or they get across from one building to the other. They hide, they take out cameras, they hide some more, they sneak around, they hide some more. They get the money, they get the stuff, they leave. The thing falls, so Gerard Butler can't get across, so he's got to kind of pull a gun on someone and get the hell out of there. They escape, they get into the cars. And then some folks that were part of the gang, but after the fight in the party, and one was pissed at Gerard Butler, 2 or so of them left. So they're in some cars chasing after. And oh, by the way, this is the only action scene in the movie. There's one, because okay, if you want to call that little fight in the party an action scene, sure, that lasts for like 30 seconds. But other than that, this is the only action scene in the movie. And you saw most of it in the trailer. They're in the car, they're driving around, Gerard Butler shoots a couple times, he shoots one that hits a guy in the chest, the car flips. Like, it's, if you see, you know what, go watch Ronin with Robert De Niro. How you do car chases. And Robert De Niro's got like a grenade launcher. That's from the late 90s. That's how you do a car chase. Among the variety of car chases you've seen and I've seen, we've all seen in movies. It's just a typical blob car chase. They get helped out by the octopus and his mafia guys. And they, Ice Jr. gives him the red diamond back. Okay, we'll work with you. Or, hey, thanks for giving the stuff back. You kept your part of the bargain. Okay. So Gerard Butler and Ice Jr., they're celebrating. Yeah, we did it, we did it. But then the police, I don't know, the French, like, the police come in. Apparently Gerard Butler turned on them. Which, I'm like, okay, you seem gung-ho that you wanted money. But I guess now you turned on them because you did not like Ice Jr. for screwing you over in the first movie. But by this point now, you're such good friends with them. I'm like, I don't buy that. I don't buy you two being good friends with each other. I don't. Why? Because you watched them eating Doritos? Because you swam together for however long? There wasn't really a whole lot of conversations you guys had with each other. Other than the first time you meet in the movie. I can't think of much other than that scene, and the scene where you're swimming and kind of bantering back. I don't remember any other scenes where you're really that deep together as buddies, as friends. Hell, the Fast and the Furious, when Paul Walker let Toretto go, that made more sense to me than what the hell in this movie. So he feels guilty. So then he talks to Ice Jr. in prison, in the cell, and says a certain code. So eventually the mafia guys, Sicilian, get Ice Jr. out of his prison transport, and they go, "You will work for us." Okay. And then Gerard Butler gets a message that apparently the rest of the crew's been bailed out. And see you soon, Fraulein. Because that's the thing Gerard Butler kept telling and calling Ice Cube Jr. Fraulein. I'm like, okay. Even my stomach was annoyed by that. Even my stomach going, ugh. And then Gerard Butler's driving down the coast. So I don't know if that means he's going to join back with them. I guess that $850 million, they don't get that money. So did Gerard Butler get any money? Wasn't his whole purpose to get money? Well, he doesn't have any money, so what about the cut that hooker wants? Is she going to show the footage? Or did he hide some of the money? Or like, Gerard Butler's driving down the coast as if he's rich, but what money would he have gotten? Did he steal some from the 850 million? It doesn't seem like it. I don't know. I just now, hey, I found some friends. Found some buddies. I don't. Are they? It's like they're trying to make this a franchise, like later Fast and Furious movies or Mission Impossible, or stuff where it's gonna be another heist, and they're working together as a team. So work together. Okay, work together as a team. Heist. What, like Fast Five? Work together as a team. What, like Mission Impossible? I know I repeated myself, but Ice Cube Jr., again, I've seen interviews. He seems like a nice guy. He has a couple moments where he shows a bit of, okay, maybe in the right project, he may be able to work. Was he in... I want to make sure... Sorry, I want to look up his filmography. Was he... Yeah, he was in Straight Outta Compton. He was not bad in that. Because he played his dad, Ice Cube, and I thought he did a good job with that. I forgot he was in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Oh, he was in Cocaine Bear. That was him. I don't remember my thoughts on him in that movie. But I mean, he did good playing his dad in Straight Outta Compton. I know he's a fan of wrestling. He's a fan of anime. I think he's even a fan of Pokemon. Like, he seems like a cool guy. But I don't know if these films are the right fit for him. He doesn't really get a chance to show much of his personality. The few bits you saw was in that scene in the water. What, is there sharks in here? But there was a whole lot of that type of stuff in it. The rest of he's got to be kind of serious and not have a lot of words to say and things of that nature. So, I don't know, man. It didn't do much for me, this film. If it did for you, that's fine. But this was such a by-the-numbers, generic, in-one-ear-out the other movie. I thought this was such a forgettable film that you will not remember. People may like it. I don't know why. Again, it feels so generic. It feels like a film you've seen a dozen times, and it doesn't do anything to stand apart. I did not even like Gerard Butler. I've seen many films he's done better. Hell, I think there was The Bounty Hunter. I thought he was better in that movie. And he does fine in this, but it's just... There's other films he did better. I mentioned you, Gamer, Olympus Has Fallen, plenty of others. I don't know, there's not much here to really talk about, which is weird because it's 20-minute long review, so apparently there was, but... And my stomach keeps talking to me, so I have to eat. So shut the fuck up about this movie, let's eat. Okay, we'll eat. But other than that, listen. If this had more style, if it had more memorable bits, like I said, for an over 2-hour movie, there's only really like one action scene. I mean, I guess if you talk about like the heist at the beginning and the actual heist, if you want to call that action scenes, then sure, I guess there's more than one. I just when I think of action, I think of shootouts, I think of fight scenes. But it's supposed to be a heist movie, and I guess you could say like Heat. But even Heat's like I think the more explosive heists and gun battles and I don't know. I thought this was boring. Like I said, generic by the numbers. Nothing to run home about. So we'll see you guys later. My stomach, I gotta shut it up. Maybe want some Doritos. You want some Doritos? Ice Cube Jr. told me to get some Doritos. Nah, I don't have Doritos, so can't do that. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.